Good lad.
WebMD. Not WebMD, I just googled it and it was like on Yahoo Answers. Yeah. There you go. Who's next, Mark?
I think there's someone who's going around Yahoo Answers trolling them, because I
hope so.
I had to look up something.
I'm pretty certain there's people with that amount of time.
The other day to find out where I'd find gnocchi in the supermarket, because I went to the supermarket and I thought, it's going to be next to the fresh pasta, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a refrigerated bit.
Yeah, it wasn't there. It turns out they were just out of it, because when I went back today I found it, but I googled it because I thought, well, what if they put it somewhere where you wouldn't think to look?
That's the oddest Google search I've heard of in a while, is where is gnocchi in the supermarket?
The Yahoo Answers came up, and the answer that someone gave for that question, someone gave us, why don't you ask the supermarket?
That's not trolling, that's a legitimately smart answer.
But I hope someone on every single one is like, for these obvious questions that people ask.
Why don't you ask such and such?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask the doctor? Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yahoo Answers.
Yeah. I went on like Boxing Day, so there's no one around. They're all behind the tills and back, you know.
I love going to the supermarket on Boxing Day and picking up all the cheap, like, stuff that was about $5 of the week before, like the day before, or like festive cheeses and stuff that's now been reduced.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great shout.
Yeah.
Going to the scrubber aisle on a Boxing Day is great work. Okay.
Elliot Wrench.
Celebrated a birthday recently. Many happy returns, Elliot.
Oh, happy birthday, Elliot.
He and I are friends on Facebook.
Okay.
Man of the people.
You are.
I can't believe you're not friends with them though.
Well, they haven't requested me.
No, I've made friends with them after, and maybe I'm just needy. Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't say legitimately who requested who, but these are,
You're more likeable than me. I'm the miserable.
By some considerable distance, absolutely. Okay, Elliot Wrench got in touch. Mark, what did he have to say?
No, isn't it you?
Am I reading? No, I did Tyler Cass fan.
Oh, now I've got the longer ones again. Right, it says, what's the most surprising / unexpected rugby league news you've heard or read between the Four Nations final and recording this podcast?
Oh, bloody hell.
I was telling you before, I took a bit of time off after the Four Nations final and didn't really get my head deep into stuff, and I've not really been trolling the message boards or reading the rumour mills or that sort of stuff. So yeah.
There's been nothing that's blown me out of the water. Kevin Brown to Warrington is probably the one.
Yeah, I don't see him as being I think what's most surprising about that news is that there's people who see him as the answer to the eternal "is it your year" question at Warrington.
So at one point, I seriously thought they were going to do a fucking open-top bus parade for him.
It was a bit surprising. Yeah. Jordan Turner getting picked for the World All-Stars, maybe that trumped it.
The thing is with that, I just think it was, and I'm taking nothing away from Jordan Turner because I think he's a tremendous player, and I hope he makes a real success of his time in Australia. But if you look at that World All-Stars side, legitimately there's a lot of English, the other English lads who aren't there and who haven't been picked for it are more legitimate picks, particularly Graham, particularly Sam, not Sam Burgess so much this season, but particularly Graham, particularly Josh Hodgson, and almost arguably Elliot Whitehead as well.
They're bigger draws, you would have thought, as well, but anyway.
I think Jordan Turner's been, and I take nothing away from him, I almost think he's been picked to lend some legitimacy to that, because there are a lot of actual Australians in that World side, and they're flying under the banner quite legitimately so, and I won't talk about my feelings on this. I'm like, oh well, he's from Fiji. I know he's not.
But anyway.
But there you go. So that's why I think he's in there. But good luck to him, and I hope he goes on fucking... I hope he carves up. I really hope Jordan Turner does well.
I think when he does get in a chance, he won't let it slip. I think that's what I expect to see from him. That's what I hope to see from him.
Me too. Next one. Oh, you'll like this one, won't you?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Elliot, second question. What is your favourite, all-time favourite band? Everyone knows my answer, don't they? Radiohead.
Yeah.
Straightforward.
It fits so well with your personality, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. Start, end, Radiohead.
There you go. I have 3, and I can very rarely separate them. Rage Against the Machine, Deftones, and Brand New. So it really depends on what sort of mood I'm in. But they're...
Because they're from such a wide spectrum of the musical sphere.
Well, they are in a lot of sense. Look, they're all based in guitar music, but Brand New are very different from, like, Rage Against the Machine. There's similarities and stuff, but the way
if there's similarities, they're not very different.
No, the reason
it's not the Sugar Babe and Metallica.
Right. Although both legitimately great. No, Brand New do beautiful indie music, and it's more atmospheric than Rage Against the Machine, who are riffier, but where they overlap is that lyrically their content is really strong. So Rage Against the Machine, obviously very politically orientated. Brand New is fucking poetry set to music. Some of their lyrics are incredible. And in the middle of that is Deftones, who kind of marry the two off, who are really strong, meaty riffs, which just get me hard, basically. I love Deftones. But there's some poetry to it as well. So, it's thinking man's rock and roll, mate.
If I was
Deftones, brand new. If I had to choose one, Deftones.
If I was to do my 2 and 3, then it'd be the Smiths and the Cooper Temple Claws.
There you go.
Elliot's final question. He says, here's a topical question. It probably was when he asked it. What would you call your club's ground, and for extra fun, some of the other grounds? I think this came off the back of St Helens.
The Totally Wicked Stadium.
Langtree Park becoming instead now the Totally Wicked Stadium with its new sponsor, the e-cig.
The Vapors
company.
My God. When I saw that news, I think honestly I sank about 2 inches. I have nothing against getting sponsorship and naming rights, but this one in particular, it just felt like, do you remember Kevin?
Yes. From Harry Enfield and Chums, yeah.
It just reminded me of something that like a teenager in the 90s would say, like he likes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's a Totally Wicked Stadium. It's just a bit twee and a bit contrived, so I wasn't happy with it. But Saints are going to get some money out of it.
I can't think of anything funnier than that either. That's
the other side of it. It is just, and the thing is, you're going to go to Langtree Park, and there'll be those because it's a ghastly, poorly marketed company with that stupid devil face on it and stuff, and that's going to be plastered everywhere.
It didn't look nice when it was just one stand.
No, exactly. It was bad then. Like the Reebok became the Macron, and that felt like it had gone from being like the Waitrose to the Lidl Stadium a little bit. But I don't know. I'm sure there's people that.
And this is one I couldn't come up with anything witty or interesting or good for. I like Elliot. I'm a fan of his work. This just didn't inspire me.
I don't like naming rights being sold for stadiums. I understand why clubs do it, but it won't be. It's not the Providence Stadium. It's Odsall. It's not.
Yeah.
Like if Central Park was still around and had changed the naming rights, it wouldn't.
Yeah, but Langtree Park.
It wouldn't be like the Holland.
Yeah, but Langtree Park was a sponsorship anyway.
Oh, was it really? I just thought it was called Langtree Park.
No, the Langtree Group.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck them then. But
that's what I thought. It's not the fucking. Isn't it a company that McManus is involved in or something?
Oh, I've no idea. I just thought it might have been like built on Langtree Park.
No.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Because I thought it's not the Menderhose Jungle. It's the Jungle.
But if something gets built new and it has a sponsorship slapped on it straight away, it doesn't bother me as much.
It's not like it's
like Heinz Field is Heinz Field. But if someone called Three Rivers Stadium Heinz Field, like Heinz at Three Rivers Stadium or something, I would have thought that's a bit shit. But because it's because it was built and made as Heinz Field straight away, it doesn't upset me.
Yeah, it's not like the Job Centre Stadium at Bellevue.
Yeah.
For instance, it's
Yeah.
They are. By the way, we might have talked about this, but I'm on my third can, so I don't know. Have you followed the Wakefield Tourist Board thing on Twitter?
Oh yeah. Is it Wakefield? I think I mentioned it to you the last time we did a show.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I love that one, man. Okay. Oh, look who's in touch. Andrew Scrimshaw.
One question for you to read again.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Go on.
Andrew Scrimshaw.
See what your Scrimshaw.
He says, it's good, Scrimshaw. How would you structure? We're going to have the same answer for this, because I'm a convert to your idea. How would you structure Super League and the Challenge Cup to best benefit clubs, players, fans, and international rugby league?
Oh,
that's good, Scrimshaw.
What an easy question from Andrew.
Fantastic work.
One that we can just answer quickly and flip and just pass over. No depth of anything.
And I've already answered it because I went, I agree with you.
What a brilliant
I'm
question.
a convert. Go on.
It's so difficult to answer this question. It's the impossible question to answer. And to be honest, what I would most change isn't the structure, it's the way our supporters act, and I would change us all to get behind stuff, to put what money we can afford to into the support and put what positive energy we can into the support, rather than putting negative energy into it and being so quick to withdraw our support when something isn't perfect for our little individual lives. So yeah, but the structure.
Happy Christmas.
The structure that I would have, I would look to get a permanent base of 16 to 20 full-time clubs. Yep. I would have them split into 2 conferences.
Yep.
If you get 20 clubs, I maybe would think to split that into 2 divisions within the 2 conferences. Run it kind of like the NFL, which I think is the best run sports league in the world. It is the model, isn't it? I would have it run more as a centralisation of profits rather than the clubs out for their own interests. I would have a separation of junior development from the clubs to a more centralised system, so talent can be distributed a little bit more evenly. I would have a major overhaul of distribution of revenues and profits so that all clubs have the same spending power, I would ensure that all clubs have the exact same access to facilities of a certain quality. Then what you value added is the talent you get in at the board level, at the coaching level, because that's where you'll have a bit more of a reign, and then the way you structure your club internally from that to identify talent the best and get the most out of the players that you can identify. And if everyone's got the same access to everything other than, in terms of inputs, then it's those choices that you make that decides whether you're a successful franchise, let's call it, or an unsuccessful one. So you'll get your consistently successful ones because they make the right sorts of decisions more often than not. Your Brisbanes, in talking NRL style. Melbourne, to an extent, even though they've made some wrong choices, they've made a lot of right decisions, some of them morally wrong, but whatever. So you get that compared to like your Parramatters who are rebuilding all the time because they're going from one crisis to another. Or your Warriors who have an unstable organisational structure where they just change things willy-nilly very quickly and they're quick to turn on the people within the organisation. Wigan, Leeds, St Helens, Warrington, stable atmospheres compared to, and tend to deal with things the right way more often than not, compared to sack a coach every season, like Hull, for example, who have had way less success than they should have had in the Super League era because of that. Sacks falling more readily, or Hull KR and Wakefield and Castleford, less so now with Castleford, but Salford, clubs like that have never got a foundation to grow and develop from. Castleford have sorted that now, and the example, but a lot of the others still haven't necessarily learned the lessons. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Giants, the Green Bay Packers, teams that have been successful over longer periods of time in every sort of way, the Dallas Cowboys, that's how you run sporting organisations. You don't sack the whole thing every couple of years. You don't look for instant gratification or instant profits or whatever. That's what I'd be doing.
I couldn't agree more.
So I'd be looking at an NFL model and I'd be having, like I say, 2 conferences of 8 to 10 in each conference. Then your grand final will be the winners of each 2 conferences.
The divisions of the conferences. There you go. Since you brought up the NFL, it gives me the opportunity to segue into something that I'd seen and read and now feel really sad about.
How are your LA Rams doing?
Fucking atrocious. It's a good thing we sacked Jeff Fisher. Oh, don't get me started on them. I'm obviously not going to switch allegiances because when I started supporting Cronulla, they were garbage as well, and a few years later I got the benefit of it, so with a bit of luck they'll improve things. But Cleveland Browns,
they just need to get in a few peptides first.
Exactly. Just drug them up. I don't understand. I wouldn't.
They do that anyway in the NFL. You only get 4-game bans for it.
Let them do it. Yeah, exactly. Cleveland Browns, worst team in the NFL.
Yes,
were on track for an entire losing season, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
They won the other day.
Yeah, by the other team's
by the skin of the teeth,
missing a kick that would have won the game. Yeah.
But that cost them a parade through Cleveland, winning that game, because the plan had been, if they went the entire season without winning, that they were going to do a bus tour through Cleveland for the team as like punishment for them, or like the fans being kind of gallows humoury and
so it didn't cost them.
And ironic. Well, no, they were going to show their support for them by sending them on a bus tour. Now they're just going to be like 1-13, and no one will care.
They call it they call Cleveland the Cleveland Browns the factory of sadness.
Don't I just want me beer all over you.
That's brilliant.
Welcome to the factory of sadness.
Well, that applied
you could rename that. You could rename Odsell the factory of sadness.
That applied to all of Cleveland sports, but obviously the Indians got to the World Series this year.
I see.
The Cavs ended a 30-year run of no winning franchise, no winning teams at all in Cleveland, and that's in basketball earlier in the year.
Right.
And a few years of being
also the whole city was the factory of sadness. That's astounding. I I bet there's a few cities in the UK that you could prescribe that.
I shouldn't be taking the mick out of the Browns too much because the Steelers play them in the next round of fixtures, but we've already secured our playoff space.
You'll be alright. Okay, back to